What happened? Oh, you mean running watch?
Yeah, I turned it right off. What's up, guys? Welcome back to a new video. Today what we're going to be doing is installing the SJM Linelock for the 2016 Plus 6th Gen Camaro. So I've had this kit for a while. I bought it from SJM. Great company, guys, super communicative. You can email them, ask them questions. It's SJM Manufacturing. I'll put a link down below to the kit so you guys can go purchase it if you want to. So if you don't know what a Linelock kit is, it allows you to lock your front brakes and do your burnout without having to brake and try to burn out at the same time, which is a lot harder on your drivetrain system. So this is a nice addition to the Hyperhawk here, because less stress on the drivetrain when you're in the burnout box and you're trying to hold down your brake while spinning those rear tires. A lot easier just to lock those front wheels, hit the gas pedal, do your burnout, and you're done. So what does a Linelock contain? Well, it's a little bit long of an install, requires a little bit of electrical installation. You have to get into your brake system, the ABS system specifically, which is over here on this side of the Camaro. It's under here, so we're going to be removing this. And I'm going to record everything the best I can so you guys can see the step-by-step of what we're doing. I haven't done this before, so this is learning for me as well. But remember, guys, videos like this, I'm not making money on YouTube. I'm not looking to make money on YouTube. I just want to provide for you guys. So make sure you guys subscribe and like. You know, it gives me a little bit of incentive to keep making videos. So well, let's get started with the install here. We'll go over what's in the box. So you get your manual, you get your Linelock toggle switch and your push button, which goes in your cigarette spot. And you got everything here in the box, which is all the parts you're going to need that's in the instructions. So he provides you with instructions, paper instructions, but you can also go online and get more images. So it says. So we're going to figure that out. I mean, we're starting right from the beginning. So we're going to start here. You know, the first thing we're going to do is, you know, disconnect the battery and then remove the 10mm nut from the windshield reservoir tank, and then pull that tank out. And now that's my methanol tank, not my windshield, but for everybody else it would be a windshield. And then it wants us to separate the windshield tube at the rubber elbow, which we've already done, and then we're gonna go from there. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the battery now. I mean, you guys should know how to do that, but if you don't know where your battery's at, it's in your trunk back here on the right side. I got lots of parts in my trunk right now, so you know, it's back in here. So we're going to yep, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the battery and then get started. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to do is disconnect this elbow right here. This is the washer tube elbow. So we're going to remove this elbow by just twisting back and forth until it comes out. Alright, don't lose that. We're going to move that over here. And we got a 10mm bolt right here. You got to take that out. Done. Now your washer top reservoir just pops out. So you can just wiggle it back and forth till it comes out. That's it. Now that's going to give us access back here to our ABS pipes. So this is what you're going to be replacing, is these pieces back here for your Linelock. So alright, we're going to follow the instructions from there. Alright, so the next thing we got to do now is we got to you got to lift this off. So we're going to remove this 10mm bolt here, and we're going to lift the reservoir up and off the studs, and we're just going to lay it over here on this rag. So let's do that now. Oh, you need a deep well socket. Alright, so you need a 10mm deep well for this part. And that's just a nut. Now we're going to pick this up It should pull right off the studs, and we're just gonna kind of maybe slide it over. Oh, no. Alright, so there is one more thing here you want to... There's a battery clip over here. So there's a your positive battery terminal down here. There's a Christmas tree clip you got to get out. I'm going to go get a tool for it. Alright, those are always a pain. But right here, down here, there's a little, just, you know, one of those annoying clips that's right into the reservoir that your positive terminal, your battery's on. So I just connected that. Alright guys, so you need to disconnect this part of your radiator hose, and then you want to plug it. I'm holding this up so it doesn't drain out, but it's just a, you know, a pinch clamp. Disconnect that hose. Alright guys, so right here we're looking for some rubber stops to plug the hose and the end of the top fill tank. You can also use bolts to do this. If you have any bolts that fit in those holes, you can block the hose and the top part of the fill tank right there with the bolt to plug them. So just an alternative for you. And then you're going to want to plug this end and then plug this hose, or some sort of seal if you have any, or a way to mount it up so your fluid doesn't drain out. We just have some rubber caps and stuff laying around, so we're going to plug that, and then we're going to stick something in the hose here. Also, when you unclamp this top hose from the reservoir, there's going to be very little fluid that comes out that you have to worry about. I did not bring that up in the video.
This is stretch over the hose a minute. No, I'm going to have to get a thing.
I'm not even sure there's much in that. That might just stay up. We can probably just tie the hose up.
Well, I got this little plug here that will go right into it. Here, that way it ain't going to be running right there.
Alright.
There. All my junk that I keep.
Yeah, whatever, it works, right? Plug the hose. Yeah, there we go. Now, so we got plugged. Now we're going to take this. We're going to get this rag out of the way.
You're hooked on the clamp.
Oh, I clamped the stupid towel. And we're going to turn this. We're just going to set it up here. Get it.
Yes.
Alright, so now that's out of your way, so you can reach in here and get to the stuff you need to back here. The next step is to remove this 10mm bolt nut washer right here, so we're going to do that now. Alright, so if you can see what I'm removing right here, it's this 10mm nut sleeve. So this is coming out right here. We're going to take that out. Alright, and then next up. Alright, so you see a lot of stuff taken apart here, and I know this is going to come later and you're going to understand why, but I'm telling you guys this now. Later in the video, I tell you guys to tighten these down here ahead of time. You can tighten this one on this solenoid, but this other one back here, don't tighten that one, because, or you have to make sure this is facing the right direction, because now you can see we're in a predicament where we're putting this last line on and this is not facing the right way. So now we have to come down here and we have to loosen that one so we can rotate this the right direction. So yeah, this is a lesson you're gonna see later in the video. We're talking about lining it up and it doesn't. Now we have to loosen that bottom one. So I'm inserting this in the beginning of the video because I don't want you guys to do what we did and then me say, oh hey, by the way, don't do what we did. So yeah. Alright guys, so we're on the next part, and basically this bracket and this piece is going to be mounting where we just took out that 10mm sleeve nut. And the instructions say not to put any of this on yet, but we're going to put the bottom pieces on and we're going to tighten them up. And it's important that when you're tightening these, you wiggle the fittings while you tighten them. It is a pressure fitting, so you don't want to over tighten. We're just trying to figure out what size we need right now. you don't want to over tighten these because of the type of fittings they are. So we're going to work on that now. We're going to get this part put on, and then we're going to get it mounted up, and we're going to move on to the next part. Alright, so your sizes for this, you got 12 mil and 3/8, and you just want to get them nice and snug, not over tightened, because you can still rotate these because this whole cylinder on the inside moves all the way through. So you don't have to worry about not being able to reposition this. Alright, we're going to go ahead and test fit putting it in. So move this out of the way. That's why that gets moved out of the way. So we got this down in here now. So you're just going to feed it in. You're going to rotate it up and around. And then this bracket right here just hugs the electrical plug right here on both sides. And then you're going to thread your nut back on. So the bracket goes... You're blinding me.
I'm sorry, I'm trying.
Sorry, I'm getting the phone in the way. So your bracket goes over the bolt, and then you're just going to thread this back on. You're going to tighten it down, and then you have the bracket and the solenoids mounted. And we'll move on to the next part. Alright, so for this next part, you're going to need a 5/8 wrench for your bigger brass fittings here, and you're going to need a 13 mil for, you're going to be removing this second and third brake line connector on the ABS controller, the second and third. So what's going to happen is the second one here is going to come to this front connector, and the third one in is going to go back here to this connector. So we're going to work on that now. And we're going to put some towels in here so that if some brake fluid comes out, it doesn't get on the paint and ruin the paint. And we're going to work. Alright, so the second one back here, we got it out. What you're going to do is see, we already got it threaded into this one here. So what you're going to do is when it pops out, you're going to pull it forward, pop it around the front behind this, right? And you're going to pick it up, and then you got thread in here. But you got to pull it out quite a bit. You want to make sure this is lined up straight, not at an angle, because these are aluminum threads. You don't want to cross thread it. So, you know, two people is what it took us to do this. I mean, you could do it by yourself, but it's going to be a lot harder. We had someone hold this out while we threaded this one in. So we did that one. Now we're going to work on getting this back one out here, the third one, and that's going to go over to here. So we're going to do that now. There's really not any other easier way to do this. 13 millimeter wrench. You just got to get it in there and work at it until it's loose enough to take it out with your fingers. And as you can see, we did put tape over the other hole. We're just doing that so we don't knock any dirt or debris or anything into the ABS. Okay, so we took the third line right here. That was the third one back. Put tape over that hole. What we did was, these all move pretty freely. Sorry, my other camera died, so I'm using my phone now, and it's not the best quality, but this gives you an idea. This moves a lot. Like this pipe here, you get a lot of flexibility with it. So you need to get this moved around, this pulled off the third one, and then you're going to pull it forward and around so it comes down in front of that solenoid down there. You can see it bends right like equally with this other brake line here. So, and then come around, and then again, aluminum threads, thread it in. We haven't gotten it tight yet. We just want to make sure they threaded nice without cross threading. And now we're going to move on to the lines that go into here and come over to this port that we got taped off, and then the other back port coming over to this right here. So we're going to take care of that now. Alright, so we just partially threaded, you got the U-shaped one here, and it goes into your third port in and comes back out to this one. And now we're going to turn this. Maybe? No. We got to get this turned for the other one. So we're going to do that, and we're going to plug that into the second. Alright guys, so now that we got this turned the right way, we're running this one from the second one in. Alright, it's going to go on this side of this line. It's going to loop under, around, feeds around up there, keep it above everything. It's going to run on the inside of this line and right into your fitting here. So we're going to tighten those down now. And then we're done with all the lines at that point. This is mounted. We're going to go through and make sure everything's tight. So we're going to go through and we're just going to feel everything. You don't want to over tighten these. They're compression fittings, so when they go in, they compress. You don't want to overdo it. So it's a feel thing. You can feel it. So, you know, when you get there, you feel it a little snug, just do it a little bit more and you're good. So we're going to go through, we're going to finish tightening these all up. I'll show you what it's like when we're done. To tighten this bottom one again, all we have to do is hold this top head here, and then we can tighten the bottom bolt with the 3/8. So again, we're going to go over the sizes here real quick. Well, we got the camera and everything hooked up. So you got 5/8. No, sorry. Yeah, this is 5/8, right? Yeah, 5/8, 13 mil. Why there's two different bolt sizes here, I don't know, because this is a 3/8. So but the OEM is 13 mil. That was 13 mil. The second, I'm not sure why they did a 3/8 here instead of a 13 mil, but this is 3/8 on ours for some reason. So 3/8, again, 13 mil, 3/8, 5/8, and those were all the sizes we needed, right?
Right.
Yeah, if you need to hold this bracket right here, 1/2 inch will work on this, as well as
1/2 inch here.
1/2 inch where?
Holds this here in place.
Oh, 1/2 inch here holds this in place if you need to turn this and hold the one on the bottom. So those should be all the sizes that you need for this, to do this setup and get everything tight. So we're going to do this, and then we have to go over the electrical. Oh, and then the 10 mil down for the bracket bolt. That was 10 mil. So those are all the sizes you need. So we're going to tighten this all up. Alright guys, so one thing you want to do is you want to check for leaks before you put everything back together. We started bleeding because you've disconnected your two front brakes is what you've done. So by adding in these tubes, you've introduced, and we're getting leaks everywhere, Dad.
We are.
Yep, right here too.
All right, we got to tighten them up more.
So you can see here, we're getting a leak here. We got to tighten that. And we also got a little bit of a leak down here on that one. So we only did the one side so far. So we're only going to get, we should only get a leak between those two connections, which we are. So we got a leak there and a leak there. So we got to tighten those up a little more. So what we did is we were bleeding the brakes, and we come back here and we take a look at that. I'll go over bleeding the brakes in a second, but we got to tighten these. Alright guys, so we're going to be bleeding the brakes now because we added in new lines into the brake system so that we introduced air. So what we need to do is bleed the brakes so we can get the air out of the system. If you have the Brembos, your bleeder is going to be on the actual caliper itself. If you're doing this on the V6 or the 2.0 turbo, your bleeder's right here. There's going to be a cap right here. You got to pop it off. And then this is a 10 millimeter here. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach a hose. Now, ideally, you want a clear hose. We don't have a clear hose, so we're doing it the old school way by feel and sound. But that's okay. We're not. If you're replacing all of your fluid, or you're adding in new lines and you're just changing out all your brake fluid, then you might want a clear hose so you can see the air bubbles come out of here. But since we just introduced a little bit of line, like a little bit of pipe brake line into the system, it's not that big of a deal. So we have our little bucket here. And we're just gonna, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in the car itself and I'm gonna pump the brakes. Then yeah, so pump up the brakes until you build up the pressure in the system, and then I'm gonna push down on the brake pedal, and then he's gonna open this line and it's gonna shoot out, it's gonna push air and fluid out. And then you just have to keep doing that over and over and over again until you feel all the air is out, or if you have that clear hose, you see no more air bubbles in the clear hose. So we're going to do that now. So now I'm going to pump the pedal.
Right.
All right.
You got to hold it.
All right, I'm holding.
With pressure on it.
Yep, as much pressure as I got.
All
right, so now he's going to open that.
Just hang on. I had to take the hose off to get the wrench out.
Oh, sorry. All right, I'm all the way to the floor.
Pump it back up.
Is it closed?
Yep.
All right, so now you close.
All right, I've got it closed.
All right, so now you closed it. So now I'm going to pump it back up again. All right, go ahead, open it.
All right.
All right.
Pump it up. Pump the pedal till you get it.
No, I'm gonna pump the pedal.
Right.
All right.
And you gotta hold it
All right, I'm holding.
with pressure on it, right?
As much pressure as I got.
All right, just hang on. Just hang on. I had to take the hose off to get the wrench on.
Oh, sorry. All right, I'm all the way to the floor.
Pump it back up.
Is it closed?
Yep. Whenever I say, all right, I've got it closed.
Alright, go ahead, open it.
All right. Pump it up.
Alright, go ahead.
You down?
I'm down.
All right, I'm closed.
You're closed.
Yep.
Open it back up again.
You ready?
Yep.
I'm getting there still. Go ahead.
Okay. Pumping it up.
All right. Ready?
Yep, go ahead.
You down?
Yep.
Pump it up.
Go ahead, open it.
All right.
Go ahead, open it. You didn't have a leg day yet, this is how you get it.
All right.
Go ahead, open it.
All right.
Yeah, I'm on my seat. Well, I can't, the battery's unplugged. Oh yeah.
We can plug the battery back up. It's right.
Fine. You gotta be almost done. There can't be that much air in it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't have the automatic seats, the seat goes up.
Tell me when you got good pedal.
Alright, hang on, don't open it. Alright, go ahead, open it.
Does it feel like you got good brakes?
It felt like I had good brakes from the beginning.
Still getting there.
Go ahead.
That sound look better. All right.
Go ahead.
I think we got it.
Alright.
Pump it up and see how you brake.
So we did add some fluid. Your brake fill is over here. Your brake fluid reservoir. Thank you. I can't think of words today. Stupid. The fill line is not on this side. It's actually. Can you grab the flashlight?
Yeah.
The fill line is actually on this side. So right up there at the top. So you want to make sure that this is, before you start bleeding the brakes, you want to make sure that you have enough fluid in here. So when this gets too low, fill it up. If they recommend, if your brake fluid's over 2 years old, that you do replace it, all of it. We're not doing that. Yeah, my brake fluid's over 2 years old, but I'm not going to worry about that right now because we're going to be doing either a 15-inch conversion or some, we're going to be putting different brakes on it anyways, shortly. So I'm not going to change my brake fluid now, just get the line lock done. So that's where we're at on the line lock. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lower the lift. That's fine.
Put this cap on. You know how it goes on?
It goes over here. Oh yeah, your little caps. Don't forget to put your little caps back on.
Keeps the dirt out.
Your bleeder ports, yep, keeps all the dirt out.
Alright.
And that's what you have to take off. It's fine, just let it fill up. Exactly, no, I get it. So guys, we're getting ready to do the electricity on this, and yeah, apparently solenoids are not polarity specific. Why, I didn't know that. You know, the natural, like I've done a lot of electrical work. Not a lot, but I've done a fair majority of it, car audio stuff, you know, things like that. So, you know, you naturally want, you know, positive and negative, right? Well, you have these two, whatever, 18 gauge, 16 gauge wires coming out of each solenoid, right? So you have 2 and 2. And I mean, there's nothing in the instructions. figured out online that solenoids are not polarity specific, so it doesn't matter. Like, just as long as one wire is going to negative and one wire is going to positive, out of each solenoid, it doesn't matter which one's going where. So you're going to take one wire from here and one wire from here and going to go to the negative, and one wire from the other one for the other, and it's going to go to the red positive wire that goes into the car. So the only real wiring you're doing outside here on the Camaro is one wire from each, one black wire from each is going to go to the ground. Right there is your ground. Boom, right here. So we're going to loosen that. We're going to connect 2 of these wires into the ground loop. We're going to get that grounded, and then we're going to work on running the red wire into the car. Now, I already have my methanol kit wired. I haven't decided, since my methanol kit wiring goes down through my fender, I might just follow that wiring into the car. I haven't quite decided. Some people are running the red wire over through the firewall sound tube, but with the Colorado manifold I'm using on this, that's going to be a pain to get to. So I could just drill right through the firewall and use a grommet, but I haven't decided on that yet. I'll come. Ideally, the way they want you doing it is just, the easiest way for anybody normally would just be run it behind the engine, go over to your sound tube, grommet hole, and run in that way. But I'm probably just gonna run down my fender here and run inside with my methanol kit wiring. That's gonna be the easiest thing for me. So we're gonna get started on getting these ground wires set up and down on there, and then we're gonna work on running the red wire. And again, I'll come back and I'll show you what we've done. We're gonna be working with electrical. All right, so now we got our 4 black wires coming off the solenoids. You need 1 black wire coming from each solenoid, gonna be power, and then 1 black wire from each solenoid gonna be ground. So grab a flashlight for me. Your ground bolt is right here. We're gonna shine the light in there. Right there. You can see the ground bolt in there, right here. So we're gonna undo that, and then we're gonna put our ground terminal on the end of our 2 black wires, and we're ground it. And that's it for the ground. And then we'll tie the wires up nice somewhere, might cut them short. I don't know. We'll figure that out. And then we're going to go inside, and I'm going to start running the red wire from inside the console out here. Now, like I said earlier, you might want to take your power wire and run it over to your sound tube if you've done the sound tube delete, which I haven't done yet. My sound tube's just plugged off. But you have the big grommet for your sound tube back there. You can go through that. Or you can drill through your firewall and run through your firewall. It comes with a grommet for the hole you drill if you want to do that. But my methanol system is run through my actual fender here into the car. So I'm going to run my wire through. I'm going to come through that, and I'm going to run up. So my power wires are going to run a little differently. Get the cigarette lighter out. However, there's 2 little clips on this. As you can see, there's one there. And there's one on this side. I broke that one, so don't do what I did trying to figure this out, because I hadn't taken this out before. So you need to get something to press in on this side and press in on this side. 2 screwdrivers you push in, okay, and then it pops up. That you have to take your whole center console out. You decide. I broke mine. I'm just gonna probably order this new cover here. Won't be too big of a deal. It's probably a cheap part, but it'll still stay in for now. I ain't too worried about it. It's not going anywhere. I'm not pulling on my cigarette lighter. We're replacing this whole thing in here anyways. So now we got to disconnect the harness in here so we can use those wires. Oh man, there's not a lot of play here. I'm trying not to have to take the center console out.
Did I give you that tool back, or did you give me that tool back?
What, the pry tool I have?
No, not you.
Oh. Alright, so not as much slack here on this cord as I thought there was going to be. I'm losing my camera here, so we're going to figure this out. I'm going to turn the camera off, and I'm going to figure this out and then show you guys what I did. Okay, so there's not much wire to work here without taking your center console out, but the wires we need are right here. We're going to use one of the supplied butt connectors they include, and we're going to clip it onto the wire, and we're going to get our connection that way. But first we need to take the black housing off of the cigarette lighter, which my dad's working on right now, so we're going to go check that out.
There.
Did you get it off?
Yep.
All right. Wait, don't take it off all the way.
This is what I used.
Yeah, just a little,
Yeah.
like a little flathead.
Yeah, but
okay.
But it's a wire thing to
Okay.
do wire.
Oh, I see. So we got a little
clip.
clip tool here. But you could use a real skinny flathead too. And then what it is on here you have two little clips.
Right there.
One right here.
Goes in that hole.
And then one right here.
You get one off, the other one comes off.
Okay. So you just got, they go into these little holes right here. And they hold this housing, they hold this lip, you know, all the way up. And then it slides down and off. And then your cigarette lighter's out. And now it's ready to be put on the button. Let's go get the button. Okay guys, this part is important, so listen up. We put the housing on the button ahead of time, which you need to do, but leave it loose. Because what you have to do later on when you're putting in the car is you put the housing in the hole first, and then you put the button inside of the housing, because the button actually locks into the housing. It doesn't use the lock ring. So I'm leaving this part of the video in here for you guys to see what we do, and then later on you'll see towards the end of the video where we messed up and how we ended up breaking it and not being able to get it to lock in because the button's in there. Alright, so now we're going to be putting this onto the SJM button. You got this little metal ring, but first you have to unplug this. Just pinch and pull. Take your little metal ring out. Open your clip you took off your cigarette lighter. Slide that through. I'm going to make sure that it's facing up, because in your car your clip closes this way. So you want to be looking at the SJM logo up. So we're just going to push that through. It just pushes in like that. Nice and clean, right? Alright, now. Alright, so the metal ring does not go back on then. So it just pushes in and then that's it. So it snaps in though, so see it doesn't push back out. So it just pushes in. And we can put our clip back on. So the metal ring doesn't do anything. This would be if you were mounting the button, if you were drilling the hole yourself. Since we're using the cigarette lighter, no metal ring. And we're going to clip this on. And then now this. Okay, I just want to reiterate on this part. You are not putting this on the button like we did. You're leaving it off. The button disconnects from the wire harness. You're going to wire your harness into the cigarette lighter. And then you're going to snap the housing in, and then you're going to pull the wire harness through, clip it into your button, and then slip the button into the housing. Again, you'll see later in the video why. This is what's going to go into our cigarette lighter. Alright, and then over here, Dad is working on the ground and power wires coming off the solenoids. So we got a nice little loom here we're using, running the wires through the loom. And then our power wire is going to be coming up through here. Your power wire is probably going to be coming from over there somewhere, however you decide to do the power wire. And then we're going to work on the ground, and I'm going to work on running the power. Next step, we got to run the red wire. So we got the cigarette lighter out, and we're not going to take this off. We're not going to cut that off yet. Not quite yet. Well, the red wire needs to come up and through. So you want to move your seat all the way back so that you can pop this off. You pop these off, they just pull up and out, and then you need to pop this off, this panel. Just pop it off as far back as it can go with the seat all the way back, which is most of it. As you can see here, it's just going to allow us to get in there. So, alright, so, you know, I watched Lethal's video, and they run the wire up through here, and then they come up through the plug. You know, I got my little hook tool right here and everything, and it just wasn't working. It's too much of a pain. I could see it, and I could barely get it in my finger, but I don't know why. I just didn't think about this originally. I just pushed it down through the hole, and it came right out. So now we're just going to pull all the wire through. Make it nice and easy. So that was a lot easier. So that's how I fed the power up through here. Now, on your connector here, your purple kind of looks brown. Your purple is power and your black is ground. So now we're going to start working on wiring up the powers and the grounds. We're going to have to cut those wires. And then what I'm going to use here, I'm going to use, these little blue things are supplied. These little connectors are supplied, splice connectors. Now, outside, I would not use these, but because it's inside the car, there's no weather, there's no nothing. I'm just going to use these. Normally, we would strip the wire out. I'm losing my brain today, guys. I would strip the wire back. We would solder the wires together. We'd shrink wrap it. We'd do all that stuff. But for inside the car here, I'm not too worried about this. There's not a lot of vibration in there and all that stuff. So we're just going to use these connectors that came with the kit. We're going to use that for the power and the ground. Then what we're going to do is we'll have to tie in the toggle switch. I'll show you the master switch in a second. I'm still unsure if I want to use that or not, but you would normally run that in line so you can flip the master on or off, so it's just always off. I might put it in line, and I might just put it like right in here somewhere. I don't know. I haven't decided on that one yet. I'm just going to work on getting this wired up for now, so I'm going to get back to that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip these wires out, and then I'm going to put the blue connectors on. And how these blue connectors work is pretty simple. Just one wire goes in one side, and then one wire goes into the other side on the bottom, and then you just simply push this together, and that'll put it. And this will also be nice. We can do this with the red wire as well. So we're gonna work on that. All right, guys, I'm gonna try to set you up here so you can see everything I'm doing. So I'm gonna snip my black wire here. It's ground coming off the cigarette lighter. And I'm gonna snip the purple wire, which is the power. Now, there's not a lot of room to work with these wires, so we're going to use, like I said earlier, the connectors that were supplied to us. So, let me go get the pigtail. Alright, so now we got the blue and the red connected together in here. One blue, and then the red wire, because that needs a hot. So, we're going to feed the purple wire into that. If we can do this. I'm gonna get some pliers so I can pull those wires up and hold them. So these do pull up. They're connected to a loom down there. And like I said, I'm just trying to prevent having to take out my thing. So purple wire is right here. Again, that's your power. We're going to put that in there. And we're going to crimp that down. Now we're going to use the pliers to pinch it. And it should lock, which it did. Alright, so we got that. Alright, that's our power. Now we just got to do the same for the ground. The ground is just the one wire going into the other one. I don't generally like using these, but due to the amount of room we have to work in here, I'm going to. So now this one, I want to do this one from this side. So on these, there's one side that passes all the way through and one side that does not. So the side that does not pass all the way through is the side I'm putting the connector on the side of the pigtail off the plug here. And then the side that passes all the way through is the one I'm going to use on this wire in here. So now same thing, I'm gonna get my pliers down in here and grab the actual harness. Give myself some room to work here. Now I've separated. I gotta get my ground out of it. My ground is stuck now. Alright. After all said and done, might have been easier just to actually take the center console off. So, I need to get this on here, down as far as I possibly can. Like so. And then this is going to go in here. And then the same thing here. We're gonna pinch this closed now. Now I'm gonna take my pliers off and pinch this nice and closed. Right over top of that. There we go. All right.
Evidently they want a 5-amp fuse in between that then.
So yeah, so my dad just brought up a point. They want a 5-amp fuse in line here, but the cigarette lighter is on its own fuse. So they just supply that if you're not putting it connected into a fuse. It's already in the circuit. Because we have a fuse on the cigarette lighter already, Dad?
Yeah, don't need it.
We don't need it.
Yeah.
All right, so now, we got the blue. It doesn't matter because the blue is just a pass-through. Your purple wire coming out of your cigarette lighter is going to the red, and one of the blues off the pigtail. That creates your hot, all right? And then this is going to connect to this, which is then going to send your power out to your solenoids. So this is what your red wire here is, just powering your button. Your black wire is obviously your ground. And so, yeah, that's that. So now what we can do is we can, are you done with that ground out there?
Not yet.
Okay. So once the ground is done out there, I will turn the car on and we'll see if we get power to this. This is hard to like record and do and show all at the same time. All right. So we got our, as I was showing you earlier when I connected these, we got our ground and our power. We ran our red wire through, but remember we pushed it down. We didn't try to run it up. We just pushed it down and let it come out over here. And then we're going to run this. You run this to your location, wherever you're going to do it, whether it's your sound tube, you got to run it back behind here and up that way. I'm just going through my fender up and around because I already have wires ran that way. Now, your blue wire here needs to go to your red wire here. The toggle switch. Can you go get me the toggle switch? There. So now, the idea is that you have a toggle switch in line right here. Your toggle switch. All right, but it has to run in line with the power source going to the actual button, which means it would have to run along this power right here, or the purple one. The problem is we don't really have room for it. And I don't really want to drill into my console and have a toggle switch sticking out here. So I'm actually going to probably forego this power switch. Basically, all it is an activation and deactivation for the button to work. Oops. Here, hold that. I just lost. Oops. I'm losing all the stuff. Oh, dang it.
Yeah, it went way down in there.
Yeah, so not. Oh, I guess we're not using it now. We'll find that stuff in a little bit. All right, so basically what's going to happen is I already tested this. What's going to happen is the SJM light is just always going to be on. The toggle switch just basically deactivates and activates the switch. It doesn't affect whether or not you can use this, or whether or not what happens when you press the button. It's just basically an on-off for this. So otherwise, it's going to be always on, but that does not mean your line lock is always going to be on. Your line lock does not activate until you press this button. When you press and hold this button, it then sends the power signals through the pigtails, through your blue wire, all right, and then which your red wire is spliced into, and then that goes out to your solenoids, activates the solenoids, And when you have your brakes on and you let off your brakes, it keeps your front leg brakes locked. That's all that does. So by not having the toggle switch in and leaving this in, nobody's going to be pressing the button. If somebody's in your car, you know, the only other thing I might do is, I was thinking about just putting the toggle switch in line with this. And then what that means is the light on this would still always be on. But if I put the toggle switch in line here, which would be pretty easy because I could put it anywhere, you could turn it off, and then if you press this button down, nothing's going to happen because it won't be able to send the signal to the solenoids to lock the front brake. So the instructions for safety, guys, I'm not telling you not to install the toggle switch. Install the toggle switch. It's a fail-safe mechanism for you, so you can have it on or off. So you're driving your car daily, you want to turn it off, you turn it off. I am probably not going to install the toggle switch, but you can if you want to. If you want it to work the way SJM has wired it up, it has to go in line with your red wire getting your power from your cigarette lighter. There's just not a lot of room here. I could cut this wire here, and I could extend it, and then possibly run the toggle switch somewhere, you know, maybe in the cup holder here, bloop, bloop. I'm not going to do any of that right now. I'm not putting the toggle switch in right now. We are just installing the Linelock so we can get it installed and test it out. I can do the toggle switch later. It can be spliced in. That's all it is. It's just cutting the signal. So that's that. This is all ready to go. I taped up the yellow wires together. Do not cut these off. These yellow wires are auxiliaries. These are for if you ever want to put it, if you ever have two-step or you have nitrous or anything like that, you can wire this in line to your two-step or your nitrous, and what that allows you to do is when this button is pushed down, it also disables your two-step or your nitrous so that you aren't spraying nitrous or activating your two-step during the burnout. Now, most of you, if you have two-step or nitrous, you're going to have an on-off switch for that stuff anyways. But it is kind of nice that this is built in because you could pull up, turn on your nitrous, turn on your two-step. All right, it's all wired through here. When you press this button to do your burnout, those things can be on and they don't activate. So then when you get up to the line, you don't have to worry about switching everything off, switching everything back on. So that's what these yellow wires are for. Do not cut them off in case you need them for the future. I taped them together. Now I'm going to get all these wires nice and taped up together. I'm going to put the cigarette lighter back in, and we're going to work on getting this power outside. Like I said, I'm running mine down under my carpet and out through my firewall over here, and it's going to come out. So because I already have wires around that way, we're going to get it connected up, and then that's it for the install. We'll go from there. I'll be back. Even just use your own wire, but this is plenty long enough for us because we're just going up here. We're going underneath the carpet here, and then I'm going underneath the fender in here because that's where all my methanol wires run. And then, you know, I mean, you can't see it because they're behind the carpet. But, you know, we're going to go through the fender, and then we're going to go up, and we're going to connect it. So the first thing you need to do is pop this off. So this all just kind of pops off. All right, and then your carpet is exposed. And then we're going to do this. And there's actually even a ground in here if you wanted to use that, but we're going to use the ground outside. So here's what we did with the red wire, and it worked out pretty well. So, you know, we ran it up through here. You can see the red wire running down through there. All this carpet just pulls down. So we pulled it down, ran it around here. Let me back up. You can see my red wire right there. All right, and then what we did is we found this grommet right into the fender wall, which is kind of nice. Take the camera off the tripod here. Hello. Ugh. This is how we work on our cars. Alright, let's try those. I don't need them for anything else. Alright, now you guys can see it. There is a grommet in your fender wall right there. Get the light on it. You can see. So it's already there. You don't have to drill. You don't have to do anything. What I did is I got a little pick here. Right there. I just poked through there, and then I got these really long needle nose. I just grabbed the wire with those needle nose, and I pushed the wire through. Now where does that go? So that's down in your floorboard. That goes right out here. Goes right out here behind all that stuff, so you can't really see the wire. It's nice and hidden. Can't even see it at all once you get it pulled up. So it comes out right out down there though. Like when you push it through, you'll see it. And then we just pulled it up, right? And then I ran it behind that little bracket right there. You can see the bolt in it. We ran it behind there. And then we pushed it through right in the corner. And then we pulled it through here. All right, and it all hides itself. It's kind of nice, so but you guys can see it down there now. And then what we did is we ran it through, and we ran it right out the hole here.
Where your washer fluid.
Where your washer fluid goes, there's plenty of room in this hole. And what we'll do is we'll just tape up the wire where it's coming through so that it doesn't rub or cause any wear on it. And then we're going to go ahead, because where your washer bottle plugs in, that hole is much larger than it. And then we're going to tie it into the power here. So we have our 2 black wires left over here. Where are they at? Oh, you cut them off.
Right here.
Why'd you cut the black wires off?
Because I don't want it that long.
Oh, you want it super short. Okay, so we cut them off. So we got our 2 black wires for
I'm going to
power.
cut the wire here, and then I'm going to pull it back through.
So now, yep, then we're going to do that, and then you can pull it back through. Found out here. It's dark.
And
So you can see the ground right there. So we've just taken the 1 black wire from each solenoid, as I said earlier, onto the connector, and then connect it right to the ground there. That you use the supplied one, right? That's the one it came with? The yellow connector?
no, I use my own.
Oh, you used your own. Okay. I thought it came with one.
It might have.
But,
I don't know.
okay, so the wires are there, and it's on that connector. And now we have our 2 wires here for power, and that's where that red wire from the inside is going to come out to. So ground progress is good. We're going to tighten that down. And then we'll be wired up for power. All right. So we got everything nice and taped up here. Got our pigtail made. Got our red wire ran out over here. Now this can all just go down inside. Alright, this is the part earlier where we were talking about the outer black housing on the button. You do not want to have it on the button like we do here. You want to disconnect the button from its harness, unplug it, and then you want to put the black housing in the hole, pull the pigtail up through, and then connect the button in and push it in and lock it in. That way you don't mess up like we did, as you're going to see. We can push this in, lock it in. Maybe. Those clips are tough. Oh, they're made to pop out, but pushing them back in is another story. It seems like common sense after I mention it, and watching myself struggle to get this in. Why I didn't think of it at the time. But this is why I like showing you guys everything, so you can see where we screwed up and you don't have to make the same mistakes. Man. Alright, let's see if we can do this. Trying to put this back in. The clips are keeping me from doing it. It's funny, they're actually made to pop out, so I don't know why that one broke, but going back in, it's
well, you're gonna have to push it in. Probably because it's putting the console from the underneath. I don't know. You want a little screwdriver or something?
Yeah, get me a little screwdriver so I can push in, and while I'm so what I'm struggling with here is the little clip you see right here. So it doesn't really move much. So we're gonna get a little screwdriver. And I'm gonna push in on this.
What are you pushing in at?
It doesn't really move. I wonder, it's like right up against the threads. That's why. That's actually pushing it out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm going to do?
Go in.
I'm going to put it in like this. See, no, you can't, because that's got it. This little thing has to go in that divot.
Right.
So this is so, yeah, that's a pain. I guess you just got to. It's almost in.
Well, I don't know if that's going to.
Oh, there we go. It's still loose. because that other clip broke.
Sorry.
You would never be able to get it in there.
The other thing we can do,
to
if
me,
you
that's
want to
a
get that,
flaw in the design. It ain't gonna matter. It's gonna drive me nuts. Well, guys, there's a flaw in the design of the SGM kit. I'll send that information over to him because you're right over here. Your leg get stuck?
yeah, my knee.
Oh, yeah. Even if you would have to put this in first, and then put the button in. Is what you got to do. That's what you got to do. So you don't break those clips, right?
Yeah.
So this can clip in first, and then the button itself can push through and clip.
Right.
Because there's nothing holding this on the other side. So you would put your
do you
flange
go this way through?
So you just put the flange in, pop the flange off the button,
Yeah.
push the flange in, or push this cover in to the hole, and then push the button through.
Just have it all lined up on your wire.
Yeah, but I broke the clip on this side,
Yeah.
taking it out. So I'll have to get another one of these from GM. It's like it is for now. So, well, guys, I screwed something up. You know, it's a little loose. It ain't coming out, but there's a clip on this side that I broke when I taken it out. So, and then putting it in, that's what you're gonna have to do. Before you put it in, once you have it all wired up, pop the outer plastic housing off the button, and then put the housing in first, and then push the button down in after the housing's in. That's the way you have to do it.
Yep.
So that's something missing from the instructions. So hopefully that helps you guys out so you don't mess up your button like I did mine. All right, guys. So we got everything hooked back up. We put our washer hose back on. Now again, your washer hose isn't going to run the same direction as mine because I'm using this as a methanol tank. My washer fluid bottle's way over there. But you got to reconnect that. Make sure you put your fluid bottle back in. Tighten down your bolt here. We checked everything for leaks again by just getting in the car and pushing on the brakes as hard as we could. And also when we were bleeding them and pumping them, we were checking our connections for leaks the whole time. So earlier I showed you guys we had a leak on the left side. We tightened that up. We checked it again and again, and everything seems to be good. But we are going to check these again. I'm fortunate enough to have a lift, so we're just going to lift the car up. I'm going to activate the line lock, put it in drive, and then we're just going to try to turn the front wheels and make sure that it's working. So we're going to do that first. All right, here we go, guys. So we hooked up the power. We're going to try the line lock now. So start the car. Computer's going to be funny. Been disconnected for a minute. So so we put the car in drive. Huh? Yeah, it's on. So we're on. So we're gonna put the car in drive. All right. So my dad's just gonna spin the wheel. Turn the tire. Turn the tire.
All right. You haven't got your foot on the brake?
I have my foot on the brake.
You can't do that. You got to let off.
All right. I'm gonna let off the brake.
Now your back is going.
All right. The fronts are free spinning.
What?
You can't turn them?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah.
Alright, so now we're going to activate the line lock by hitting the brake, holding down on the button. Alright, now we're going to let off the brake, still holding the button, and the backs are spinning?
Yeah. Front are locked.
And the front are locked.
I can't do it.
And the backs are spinning?
Back's spinning.
Alright, and now we're going to let off.
Want me to try the other side?
Yeah, go ahead, try the other side, make sure it's locked too.
Are you ready for me to try it?
Yeah, try that side. Try to turn it.
No.
All right. So now I'm gonna let off the button.
Yes.
And now they're free. So now we're gonna do it again. So we're gonna let off this. Press the brake. Hold the button. Let off the brake. Now the back should be spinning. The back is spinning.
Yes.
And the front should be locked.
You're locked.
right, so now we let off, and now, man, you can feel it.
Turn it around.
Make sure you turn off traction control. All right, traction control is off. Brakes down. Holding down the button. Letting off the brake while still holding down the button. We're not going anywhere. And now we just... Car didn't like it. Something happened.
What happened? Oh, you mean running wise?
Yeah, I turned it right off.
Bro.
There we go, guys. The Linelock successfully installed. Alright guys, so the Linelock install was a success. If you remember earlier in the video, I brought this up where my check engine light came on for a few seconds. I had not noticed this when we were doing the install. This has nothing to do with the Linelock. When I did that burnout, we actually lost 2 cylinders. So stay tuned for the next video. We'll go over what happened to the car, why it happened, and again, it had nothing to do with the Linelock install. The Linelock install was a success. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope this helps some people. And if you guys like my videos, don't forget to subscribe. Also, don't forget to like and comment below if you have any questions. I'm always happy to answer. We'll see you guys in the next video.